1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 2, 3, 4. Da, 2, da, 2, 3, 4. What's going on, everybody? Jake Andrews here, Blues Rock Guitar Lessons. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Welcome back to my channel. And we are doing such a cool track today. You can have my husband, but please don't mess with my man. That's right. This song was originally recorded by Irma Thomas, the legendary Queen of New Orleans. This was recorded originally in the late 50s and was a hit for her in probably 1959. You really should check out that original version. Irma Thomas, what a legendary singer. I love Irma Thomas. And this version is from 1978, and it is Stevie Ray Vaughan on guitar, but as you can tell, this is years prior to his big break. 1982, 83, 84 is really when he broke through, and this is from years prior. There was no Double Trouble even back then. This was kind of when the band was going by the name Triple Threat. And Lou Ann Barton, legendary Texas, Austin blues R&B singer, she was really the main vocalist in the band. Stevie Ray was mostly playing guitar, although he did do a few of his songs in the group as well. And like I said, it's years before his first record. Stevie just going straight into an old Super Reverb or a Vibreverb. He ain't tuning down, he's just got his old Strat, no effects, and it's just a raw sound. Now, this record was recorded in Nashville. Jack Clement Studios, a famous studio. A lot of great country albums were recorded there, but they went up and recorded this in 1978. It's Lou Ann Barton, Stevie Ray, Chris Whipper Layton on drums, and it's before Thomas Shannon. So this is Jackie Newhouse on bass. And they recorded all these songs there. This stuff never got released, but lucky for us, it's all on YouTube now. So you should look this up because there are a lot of the early rough versions of some Stevie Ray songs you're familiar with. Pride and Joy, Lovestruck, all those songs are there, but they're just a really raw sound. They're not near as polished as they would become years later. So you definitely should check that stuff out. So this is a great song. Lou Ann has performed it for years. She probably continues to perform it now. You can still occasionally see her play live with Jimmy Vaughan. She sang with the T-Birds for a while. She sang with Stevie. Then she had her own solo career forever. I used to play with her when I was a kid. In fact, I went and toured with her in Europe when I was a wee child of about 12 years old. She's bad to the bone. Now, one more cool story I wanted to mention was about those early days with Triple Threat. Lou Ann was singing then, but eventually she and Stevie Ray went their own ways. And because of that, Stevie was left with the trio. He took over the lead spot and started doing all the singing and became the front man. And that's how that happened. In the early 80s, Lou Ann had her own interest going, a big buzz about her going here in the scene and elsewhere. And so I guess this was somewhere in mid-1982. She was doing a show at the Continental Club here in Austin, and the legendary Atlantic Records producer, head of Atlantic Records, Jerry Wexler, was very interested in signing Lou Ann. He had heard the buzz about her, so he flew down here to hear her live show at the Continental Club. Well, of course, wouldn't you know it, Stevie Ray and Double Trouble were playing on the same bill that night, and he heard them. He was so blown away by their set that he told the band, "Y'all have got to get on the Montreux Jazz Festival, one of the most prestigious jazz and blues festivals in Europe. It's been around forever." And he said, "The festival is happening," I believe it was just a few weeks later, "but don't worry, I know the promoters. I'm sure I can get you added to the gig, and you really should go over there and do this show, and it will be great for the band." So he was able to add Double Trouble to the prestigious Montreux Jazz Festival as an entirely unknown artist. Okay, he didn't have any recordings out or anything. But Jerry Wexler got him added to the show, and of course, the rest is history. David Bowie and Jackson Browne heard his set there, and it just snowballed from there. And then the band's big break came soon after that. So I hope you enjoy that bit of Austin, Texas music history. So this song is in the key of G, and you can see I did my own version interpretation there. It wasn't exactly note for note, but pretty close. This lesson is going to be a great lesson for not only advanced players, but beginners and intermediates as well. And I'll show you why. I'm going to kind of walk you step by step through the evolution of that riff that Stevie Ray is playing. Okay, so y'all come in here close and let me show you what we're working with. Okay, everybody, so this song is in the key of G. So we're down here at our first position. Of course, all of these ideas I'm going to be showing you today could be played in any key, okay? This is just some straight 1-4-5, mostly minor pentatonic blues type licks, okay? So these riffs and licks we could do in any key, okay? I think you get that. This song is in the key of G, and what I'm going to start with is kind of the basic evolution of this riff that's being played on the song, okay? So Stevie Ray is playing, but what we're going to start with is just our basic kind of blues bass line that is very commonly doubled up on guitar, okay? And it's right here in our pentatonic notes, right in the first position, and it sounds like this. That's all it is. I'm playing that shuffle rhythm, so I'm going to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's the key to it, is that rhythm, that shuffle rhythm. It sounds like a horse shuffling along. And so I'm doubling up every note. I'm on the root, the fifth, the flat 7, and back to the root here. All right? And that is a very common blues R&B bass line, like I said, and it's pretty common to double up on guitar on that, but you hear it all the time. So if I played it through, I'm going to do it 8 rounds here on the 1, which is G, and it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I would drop right below it to the 4, right here, which is C, and everything just drops down a string. I'm going to do it 2 rounds there, and then I'll go back up to the 1, the root, and do it 2 rounds. Finally, I'm going to bring it up to the 5, which is right here. And by the way, that's a really easy way to find 1, 4, 5. Is just, if I'm working off of the low E string, my 1, my 4 is always right below it, and the 5 is a full step in front of that. So this kind of L shape. So like I said, you could do this in any key. If it was A, 1, 4, 5. If it was C, 1, 4, 5. So I'm going to come up to the 5 and do it 1 round or 1 bar, and right here to the 4 1 time, and then back to the 1. Then I could do a turnaround lick. Now what's being played on the Stevie Ray song is more like a 7th or 9th chord going sharp, or a 9th like this. Okay, either way is good. That's going up to the sharp 5. Okay, so that's kind of our standard shuffle 12-bar blues bass line pattern that's very often played on guitar. All right, that sounds awesome by itself. Now, the next variation of that is playing it kind of backwards, kind of in reverse. So I'm still going to start on the root note, but then I'm going to skip down here and play backwards. Same notes. Now let me play that all the way through so you can hear what one full verse would sound like. A 2, 3, 4. Doing a 7th chord, a D7, D sharp to a D7 there. Okay, so the next step in this lick here is kind of flipping it and doing it almost backwards, and it sounds like this. Okay, so you can see I still start on the root note, but then I'm skipping down to this high octave, and then just going backwards. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so a very simple variation, but it sounds great as well. Okay, now, so we're kind of adding a little piece at a time, making it a little more difficult each time. Now what I want to do is on the 4 and the 5 down here, not up on the 1, but on the 4 and 5, when we're coming down here to the double notes, to the 3rd string rather, I'm going to have you play double stops on those notes, and it's going to sound like this. Okay, so these are still single strings, but down here we're getting double stops. The 3rd and 2nd string. Listen again. And then back on the 1, we're still doing single notes. Now on the 5, do the double notes again. Okay, are you with me so far? Now you could, if you wanted to do those double notes on the 1, which was G, you would have to play it up here off of our G note on the 5th string. So that would be fun, a cool variation as well. Okay, now going further on to this song, here is what Stevie Ray Vaughan is actually playing. It's a variation of what we just did. So we're going, and now we're getting this movement here. So those are just single notes, da, 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 and then finally we're back here to the double. So. So you see that movement there is quicker. Da, 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 da. 1 and 2 and da, 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 da. All right, and in time it sounds like. And now, of course, we would go to the 4 chord change. And we're going to include those double notes here. So this is a little trickier. Let's just try it at first without the double notes. So we'll go. And now let's add in the variation, the 9th chord that he's using. Okay, this kind of James Brown shape. And he's going, so it's a sharp 5 to the 5. Okay, now let's try it with the double stops down here on the 4 and 5 chord change. So it's going to sound like. Okay, and notice at the end there, we broke again on this low root note. So I go. Okay, so add that in as well. Now let's talk about our picking. You'll notice at full speed, I'm alternating this mostly, especially on those double stops down here. You could get away with downstroke. You could get away with downstrokes only, but I am alternating. But kind of selectively alternating. I'm only using it when I need it, when the notes are speeding up. I am doing it here. Now, another cool thing that Stevie Ray does there going into the 5, he goes, so he gets that slide in. Okay, and that's kind of the evolution of this lick that he's playing, okay, this riff. And he's using that throughout the song. Now, of course, if you haven't already noticed that, later on, Stevie Ray took this same riff, exact same thing, and he just turned it into an instrumental he used to play called So Excited. Do yourself a favor, if you haven't heard it before, look up on YouTube, So Excited from the El Macambo live show. It's one of the greatest live sets you'll ever hear of any artist, but of course, especially for him. But his version there of So Excited, it's really the same exact riff. Not sure if, well, he's tuned down, so not sure if he's actually doing it in G sharp or G flat. But he basically does 1 or 2 verses of the riff, and then he just tears it up on lead for the rest of the song. But Very cool. All right, so now going back into the other stuff that Stevie Ray is playing, the way I like to teach students to initially start playing lead and rhythm at the same time, or rather a riff and then some lead, is to just start inserting some basic licks into what we just did. So what I mean by that, instead of doing 4 rounds of the riff, we're going to do 2 rounds, and then I'm going to show you a few simple licks to start playing. Check this out. So cut it off on that root note like we did before, and here's our lick. We're right in our box. I'm going to start with a bend. That's the first half. Now the second half, I'm going to hammer onto this major third here and go. And end on the flat 7. So the whole lick is. And in time. Okay, from there I would go to the 4 and do this twice. And cut it off again and do the same exact lick. Now go to the 5. And cut it off. Now I only have time to do the first half of that lick. So I do the first half and then I go into that sharp 5 to 5. All right, so in time. Okay, very fun. That's an easy way to start adding some licks into your rhythm parts, okay? Let's do another one. Same thing, I'm just gonna insert a few basic licks, and then the idea is for you to start doing your own thing in that space. All right, but this one's gonna look like this. And we'll go up to our second position. Watch this. So that's the first half. Now I'm going to come back here on the 3rd string and I'm going to do this lick right here. Real basic blues lick. I'm sliding in to the 2nd box, dropping my middle finger, and then coming back the way I came. So this is our lick. Okay, and then I will go through all the changes like I did before. So listen to what this verse will sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just like the previous verse, you saw there at the end, I was only able to do the first half of the lick. Okay, and let's do one more verse that will sound like this. Okay, so this one is going up the neck even further into the third box. And what I did is I slid into our third box here, but on this major note. So more of kind of a B.B. King. Okay, so I'm in this kind of B.B. King box. But then I'm going over to the minor pentatonic here, and I'm bending it. So this is a combination of major and minor. And then we just went back to the first position and did. So I slide back and get that blues note. So once again. And then just this first half. All right, so all of you intermediate players, start with that and then try to start inserting your own licks into that space. As long as it takes up that same space, you can really play anything in the key of G. More or less minor pentatonic, you can throw a few major notes in here and there, but that's the idea. Okay, so moving on, the other section I was going to show you is that break there where we come up to a ninth chord here at G and we break on it. We go 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, and then we jump all the way up here and we get the hideaway chord. And we go da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that chord is on the back side of G. You see I have the flat 7, the 9, the 3rd, and then the root. And then we're just right into the verse on the 4. Okay, and now finally for you advanced players, I'm going to show you some of the lick ideas that Stevie Ray is doing on this song. I'm not going to show you everything note for note, but give you a good idea of what he's playing, what he's doing. And what's really amazing is that he never leaves this first position of G the entire track until we get to the ending lick, which is just taking it up an octave. So he's getting everything pretty much in this first box. And really, it's all just about putting some guts into it. He's playing this pretty hard and pretty intensely and pretty mean, and that's how he's getting that sound, okay? So you saw me play it at the intro. I'm gonna basically break down some of those ideas and do it slower here. Okay, so watch me do this first intro verse. You'll notice that I'm using my thumb now for this bass note, and I'm sure he's doing the same thing. So I'm going to do it like this, slowly, and then we'll break it down. So. Now notice on the fourth one he does this. Okay, now we go to the 4. And then here he goes, he plays it more straight, back to the riff. And we have to kind of cut it off there, because now he goes into this lick. Okay, once again, he goes. Okay, good luck with that one. You notice these bends he's doing are full bends, and he's just really shaking the heck out of it at the top. Okay, let me play that intro verse in time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're into the vocal, and he's just answering the vocal. I have my husband, but please don't mess with my man. And then Stevie does. So he goes. Right to the 4. You can have my husband, but please don't mess with my man. So. Then he plays this lick, which I love. He does it a few times throughout the song. Okay, watch this. Okay, so we're bending the second and then the first. Then rebending here. Really shaking it, and then finally he's taking it. And then you have to jump into that 5. So. And then he's doing another lick like this. And then we break, okay? Da 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 da. 2, 3, 4. Back to the 4 chord. And he does this same lick from the previous verse. And then another similar lick, kind of like this. Okay. And then he's off to the races. He's into the solo. Now, I'm not going to do it exactly note for note, but I wanted to show you how he's getting some of these ideas here. He goes right into it. And he's repeating this bend. You might want to alternate here. So he's going right into that, and he's just playing it really intensely. And then he's going to go to the first string as well. Finally. Okay. And he's going to go into some of this. He's going to get that 9 note, and then he's going to get this little 7th shape here, okay? Let me play that again. Back to this kind of 9 note. it comes right out of it back into that break. Okay, so hopefully you can get some of those ideas and then kind of pick out some more of it on your own. You can always slow it down. Now, the only other thing I'm going to show you is at the very ending there, that lick he does. Okay, so the very end of the song, we're on the 5. And we cut it off and we jump right up here and we do. Okay, so we're in our first position up high. Pull this note back. And then we're going to take this this G9, we're going to take it sharp. So in time it sounds like. Woo! And that is some hot guitar playing that Stevie Ray is playing on this song. Okay, that's it. As always, everybody, I hope you truly enjoyed this lesson. Please give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, hit the bell icon so you can get a notification from me when I put out these new videos. Leave me some comments down below, let me know what you think. And I will see y'all on the next go around. Peace and love, y'all.